Hi guys, welcome back to the Honey Pop. Today we are sitting down with an amazing singer-songwriter. Her name is DEZI. We're just super honored that we get to talk to her. She has a new song called Bad Bitch out. Also a recent release called Congratulations. They are definitely available to stream now. But we got to sit down and talk to her about kind of more of the behind the scenes of creating the tracks that she's put out, her signing to a record label, and just kind of getting her take on the industry and learning more about her as a creative. And we're just super honored that we get to talk to her today. And so without further ado, let's get into the interview. Awesome. Well, hello. Welcome to the Honey Pop. We're super excited you're here with us.
I'm so
Um, so our first question is going to be, could you start off with like a little mini introduction about yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Um, what do you want to know? Just like who I am, what I do situation?
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. My name's Desi. I am a songwriter, artist, producer, all that good stuff. I like to say I make bad bitch music. That's
No, I
about it.
think I
Yeah.
think that's a good I think that's a good
Thank you.
explanation.
I just want to make music that people like listen to if they're like on their way to a date or something.
Okay,
And you like
yeah.
be pumped up. Like I want to make that kind of music.
No, I can feel that. Just
Right.
listening to music, I was like, no, I got you. Like that makes sense.
But I'm glad I'm hitting the mark.
So you've just released your song, Bad Bitch. So what has the fan reaction been for you?
It's been great. I mean, I posted a couple TikToks that did really well, which is always like really good to see people identify with the music. Um, I had like one fan reach out and she was like, send me this beautiful like heartfelt message and she was like, "Hey, I just like got out of a really intense breakup and like was really not feeling good about anything and then I heard your song and it just like inspired me to go dress up and take myself out on a date." And I was like, that's it.
I love that.
That is exactly why I made this song. Because I had the same thing happen to me. That's, why I wrote the song. So hearing stories like that is amazing.
No,
And
I love that. And that's really good because you get to hear that from your fans.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
you're like, okay, I'm doing the thing. It hit its mark.
yeah.
It's what I wanted.
Exactly. It's always nice to hear that because, like with social media and everything, like all you see is numbers on a screen and that kind of thing. And it's really hard to feel that like more personal
Mhm.
connection. So when I do like get messages like that, it's really beautiful.
No, definitely. And I think just fans are super important. It's what
Yeah.
the Honey Pop started because we're all
Yeah.
fans of artists.
Yeah.
And so it's our tagline is for fans by fans. And it's something that we just find super important. And like with newer artists and stuff, we're like, no, like your fandom is like
Yeah.
cater to them, like talk to them and like they'll support you in everything you
Yeah.
do.
Those are your
So
people.
yeah,
That
it's
is
like
why we do
that's
it.
your group.
Yeah, like as much as people start doing music for themselves, I'm like, we're doing it for everybody else. Like if we wanted to just make music for ourselves, we wouldn't be putting it out.
Yes,
Like
no, for
that's
sure.
a lifeline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, so kind of staying along with like the song Bad Bitch, what would you say, we kind of touched on it, but what would you say the song means to you, or what do you hope the fans kind of take away from the song for themselves?
Yeah, so I wrote that after coming out of a breakup a couple years ago, and it was a long relationship, and thought this person was the love of my life, and he and I ended up breaking up, obviously, and I was just like, for like months, I was in a rut. I really just couldn't pull myself out of it, and I like went into this session, and I'm like, "What do you want to write about?" And I'd written so many breakup songs at that point. I was like, I was done with that, and I was like, you know what? I want to like write a song that manifests where I want to be in like 2 months. Like my headspace wasn't even exactly in that place yet when I wrote the song, but it was like my way of trying to manifest where I wanted to be. And so then we ended up writing Bad Bitch, and I was just like, I want to have this song pull me out of the funk, and it kind of did. It like really helped like launch me into into that place. And so, I just hope people feel that, because I think a lot of my songs have that energy of like you can walk down the street, like it can be pregame music, getting ready, whatever you need to like feel yourself. But this song specifically is like helping you get out of like a dark place. Like when you feel alone, when you feel like shitty after a breakup, whatever, like I want this song to be able to help pull people out of that and like feel themselves again.
No, I love that. And I think it's just an important song to have. It's important for
Yeah.
you as an artist to have that kind of in your discography, but
Yeah.
also like it helped you as well. So it's like if it helps you, like your
Yeah.
fans, it's gonna help your fans
Exactly.
too. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's gonna bring people together and understand that we are all bad bitches in our own
That's
lives.
all I want. That's all I want.
So kind of going back in time, so you studied at NYU's Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music.
So
Um,
good.
so what was that experience like for you? And what would you say? Sorry, my cat's like tail is like in the like she
It's okay.
keeps going against the computer.
My dog is keeping me company here. So
Aww.
I had to like rush to change. I was wearing a matching sweater with my dog before this. And I was like, I think I need to change. What if they know? What if they find out? And then I just
Right. They're like, they're gonna know my dog is wearing the same sweater.
I'm like, they're all gonna judge me.
No, I personally would have been like, that's really cute.
It just came today and I like immediately put it on. I was like, we match.
Yeah. And the dog's like, what?
I don't speak English.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying. But anyway, back to the question. What was the experience like for you studying there? And then what is the most important thing you learned that you would say?
That's a good question. It was really cool studying in a program like that because at the time, I don't know about the case now, but at the time, there was nothing really like that. There were a couple programs who had like commercial music programs and things like that, but NYU was the only one that I read the description and I was like, that is where I'm supposed to be because you could focus on performance, songwriting, production. Like you learn, it's a very holistic view of the music industry. It's not like so one track. And I love that because I was like, I just want to know everything that I can about this. And so just being immersed in that and having like professors who were working in the industry and, the people, I'm from Michigan. So it was just like, I was kind of big fish, small pond, and then like came to New York and I was like, oh my God, like everybody here is so good. But it was like a really cool challenge and it was really inspiring it was like a level up. It was really, really cool. And I think the most important thing I learned was to trust yourself because being put in a school with people like that, like I was with people who were already like about to sign record deals and like da da da, like people from LA who were like, I know everything, like da 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 da, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. So like through that, I really had to learn to trust myself and like be confident in what I was doing and not compare myself. I mean, it's hard. Like I feel like it's impossible to never compare yourself, but learning to trust myself and be confident in what I'm doing, you know. So
And I
that's
think,
the biggest lesson for sure.
yeah, I think that's a really good lesson.
Yeah.
'Cause it's gonna help you in every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Is if you just trust your gut, you're gonna be fine. Like it's hard though, because like we are in the age of social media. Like I've been on social media since I was 11 years old. Should not
Yeah.
have been,
Isn't that
honestly,
insane?
should not have been on MySpace back in when I was 11. Should never
It's
have done
so
that.
crazy. I'm like, why did people let us do that?
I know. And my parents didn't know. And
Yeah.
so I was just like
Yeah.
on it, seeing anything and everything. And then just
Yeah.
started, the
As a
comparison
child.
started. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Comparing yourself to any aspect of
Yeah.
of like a fake life essentially, because it's like it's just the highlights of your
Yeah.
what's going on. And it's like that's not real. So yeah, the comparison thing is so important and
I mean,
And
it's something
especially
I'm
with
still
some,
learning, you know?
yeah. Oh, I think it's a lifelong thing. I don't think it's ever gonna go away. It's just you're gonna have to keep trying and trying to figure out.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
it's definitely, especially with like TikTok and all the other,
All
you
the
look at
platforms.
numbers and you're like, wait, why didn't I do this? Or why are my numbers not as good? And it's like,
It's
no,
yeah.
it's just an
Yeah.
algorithm. Like
It's
that's
just an algorithm and it's just a number and it's like also very important to see where you've come from. Like
oh
how
yeah.
like I had a moment at one like a couple months ago where I was like really hard on myself because of stupid things like numbers. And I was like, oh my God, look at how far you have come in the past year. Like if you can't like zoom out, you know, and just like look at the journey, look at the growth and stop comparing it to other people. Because that's just it never puts me in a good place.
Yeah. And I mean every artist's journey is gonna be different.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
timing. It's timing. And if you hit that one sweet spot,
Yeah.
but if you don't, like that's not to say that your work isn't good. Like
This is
and
a very oversaturated world we live in. And sometimes it really is. I know so many artists who I'm like, they just as easily could have gone viral, but because I posted when I did and like hit the algorithm right or for whatever reason. And yes, the songs are good. Like I'm very, very proud of the songs, but you know, I know so many people who are also like equally as talented who haven't had that. So
yeah.
it's just like everything's oversaturated and we're all just doing our best out here.
No, and I mean like some of my favorite artists are like considered small. Like
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, but you're
And you're like, how?
I'm like, why aren't you popping yet? I was like, because
Yeah.
your song is good. Like,
Well, the math ain't mathin' because this should be
yeah.
at like proof,
I'm
but
like, you should be on the radio. Like, what is happening? Like, on my own personal radio, you're on it. But like,
why
why
aren't you
aren't
on
you
the
there?
radio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to like find someone who's a radio host and be like, please play these songs. Like, please. Like, they're so good.
Just beg them.
Yeah. And they're gonna be like, who are you?
They're like, ma'am, you need to leave.
I know. I'm like, but I care about these people. You gotta put them on the radio.
Please. I
But
feel
yeah,
that.
so yeah, I think that's just super important to know is that like your time is going to come. Like
Yeah.
it'll happen and it'll
Yeah,
happen when it's right for you. And
exactly.
it might suck for a little bit, but like it
Yeah,
it's gonna be fine.
exactly. And
Just
sometimes even when you reach like one of those milestones, like it doesn't feel the same. It's weird. Like
yeah.
I get so much more fulfillment from like somebody approaching me and telling me personally like
Mhm.
that they love my music or that it's like meant a lot to them and whatever. That means so much more to me than a song reaching a certain amount of streams,
Mhm.
you know, because it's just numbers on a screen. And
Yeah.
it's just like that real connection is what makes it feel so worth it.
And that's good that you have like you
Yeah.
recognize that
Yeah.
because sometimes it is kind of really easy to get caught up and then but
Oh,
then
I've been
you're like
there.
then you bring yourself back and you're like
Yeah.
no, like
Yeah.
remember that one fan who found me like I was just walking down the street to go
Yeah.
get a bagel or something and they're like, oh my god, I love you and your music, and you're like, oh
Exactly.
my gosh, you're real.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh my, real people. That those numbers translate to actual people. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. But so you you launched your solo debut last year.
Mhm.
And you have a variety of singles. I think I counted like 9, 10 maybe
Yeah.
ish around
Some
there.
that.
Um,
We're at 10 maybe?
I think it's 10,
Yeah.
but I was just counting really quickly because I was
Yeah, yeah.
curious. But what has been your favorite track to release, like from the entire time?
That's a good question. Honestly, Bad Bitches Bad Bitch comes to mind first because it's like this song that I have been sitting on for like 2 years and has always meant a lot to me. And I didn't want to release it until I actually felt like a bad bitch.
Mhm.
And it just like feels very rewarding to be at that place now and be like, I'm ready to put this song out. Like, I want people to hear this. Like, that just feels really good to be in that place. I also, deep cut, my other favorite is the song I wrote called Scene that came out in February. And it's actually a sad bitch song. It's like very different than everything else I've released. It's very like it's like guitar driven and very emotional and it's just sad. But it's the first song that that I've put out that I completely wrote by myself, that I like co-produced it with my producer fully, and it just like really meant a lot to me. It was a milestone.
Yeah.
Probably a bad bitchin' scene.
Yeah. I like that. And I like the little like you have those credits on that song, and I
Yeah.
think it's important. And
Yeah.
so
It felt really good to because I think sometimes it's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this all on my. I love to collaborate, so I always collaborate, but it's like having the knowledge, it's like, oh, I'm really proud of that song that I wrote on my own and I put it out. Like that just it feels good. And I love
yeah.
the song, like it means so much to me. And it's a song that a lot of people come up to me and they're like, why did you not push that song more? Like it's my favorite song you've ever done. And I'm like, oh, yeah, me too. I don't know.
You're like, I don't know, I just put it out there and
I
like
was
you
just
guys
like
do.
kind of just threw it out there.
Yeah. Then like you do what you want with it now. Like,
Exactly, exactly.
but kind of going along the line, so you said you co-produced the track. So I don't know anything about producing. I'm not a songwriter. I don't sing except in my shower. But like,
Okay.
so I'm not an artist in that way. And I've always found producing to be really just I don't know how to explain it. It's like really cool. And I don't know what any terms are, but I've been talking to a lot of artists lately and who have started to kind of venture into production, or at least like sit in the room with their producer.
Right.
So how yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to word the question
Yeah.
because I don't know the terms on it. But
Okay.
like so when you're in the room and you're thinking about the production elements of your songs, do you with you and your producer that you're working with, do you know the terms and how to like explain it to them, or do you have a lot of your team that's kind of like, I know what you're talking about, let me do this and then let's see if this is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I think through time I've picked up a lot more of like the actual terminology just like by being in the studio with my producer. But like half the time I really had to like find weird ways to try to communicate like what I was hearing in my head and try to like say in a way that my producer would be like, yeah, totally, I'll make it sound like this. So I like for Venus and Gemini, I was like, can you make like take the bass and then put another bass on it, but make that one really crunchy. Like just make it really like I want to feel like it's like pushing me on the ground. Like just the weirdest ways. And he was like, all right. And then he nailed it. So now we've just like kind of we even have our own terminology where I'll just be like, yeah, make it like dirt, make it crunchy. Like I want like put a little granola on it. Like just the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
But it works. Like we get it across. Or like sometimes I'll be like, oh, like I want the mix to be shinier. It's
Mhm.
half of it is real terminology and half of it I'm just making up.
No, I just find it so fascinating because like
Yeah.
it's such a different element to music, and I always hear the elements in the songs. I can be like, oh my God, that sounds so cool. Like,
Yeah.
what is
But
that?
then finding the words for it is really,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know how to explain what I just heard, but like it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long process of like learning how to communicate what I'm hearing in my head. And sometimes I'll literally just make the sound and I'll just be like, can you make it sound like this? And he's like, okay.
He's like, I got you. I understand. Because like they are really artists in their own right.
Yeah.
Like it's just I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you do that? Like I don't
Yeah.
you hear a noise on like the side of the street, like I don't know, like a broom sweeping or something, and they're like, oh my God, that'd be so cool in a song. And I'm like, what are you
And then
talking
they turn it
about?
into like a hi-hat or something. And it's like,
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? I was like, one, cool.
yeah.
Two, what the
What?
heck?
Right. I did this writing camp, like this all-female writing camp, and for one of the songs, we ended up making all of the percussion from like kitchen tools. Like the kick drum was just like one of us like banging on a door, and then we took like a little espresso cup and we're like tapping just
Oh, I love
like
that.
tongs and we're like clicking the tongs and stuff like that. And we were like, let's just like get weird. Why are we let's just think outside the box and
Yeah.
challenge ourselves to like and then the girl who wrote the song for who we wrote the song for, she's like putting the song out with those elements in it. I'm like, that's so cool. I love
I
that.
love that. It's getting
Yeah.
back, it's like stripping it back. Like it's
Yeah,
going back to kind of the basics when we didn't have these types of technology that kind of,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah. No, that's super cool. I love that.
Yeah.
And you're always gonna like remember that. So when the song's out, you're gonna be like, I did those little tongs, like, or
Like, you
I
hear
did
that?
these.
That's a
Yeah.
song.
Be like,
Just some tongs.
yeah, be like, I hit that espresso cup.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I'm like, yeah, thank you. I am a professional.
no, that's super cool. And I find the behind the scenes part of music just so fascinating because I'm not in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear the finished products and then I write about them.
Yeah.
So it's like getting to kind of go into like the depths of like, how did you do that? Or like why in this song did you put this production element, or what was going on in the room when you
Yeah.
made the song? Like I
Yeah.
want to know the gritty details of
I
what you
love
want to
that.
share.
I love that because I think as an artist, we don't really get asked that question a lot. And that's like the most exciting part. Like, that's why I love making music too. Like, I love putting it out and doing all that whole thing, but I love the creative process and how things like come to fruition. Like, I think that's the coolest part of making music is like you walk into a room and you're like, huh, I have this weird word in my brain that I want to like use as a song title. And then 3 hours later, you walk out and it's this fully realized song. And you're like, how did that
Mhm.
happen? Like, it's so cool. So it's nice to like talk to somebody who's actually into that process and not
Yeah.
just like final product.
Oh no, for sure. Like it is so fascinating. And I think it's
Yeah.
probably just because I'm not in that world. And so I'm
Mhm.
just like,
Yeah.
I don't write music. So I'm
Mhm.
like, how, like when you're in this, so this is my question to you, I guess. So when you're in the studio or you're just writing, do you prefer to be in like a writing session with other people, or do you prefer to kind of be on your own and then come into the studio and be like, so this is the idea,
Mhm.
let's work with it?
I will usually come up with concepts ahead of time, but I try not to go too in depth and I like just tailor the sessions to who I think would help pull out the ideas from the song. So like for example, the song I have coming out next month, it's called Witch Hunt. Um I had this idea. I literally just had the title Witch Hunt and I was like, I want to write this song because I feel like, throughout my life I've been like targeted for being for being who I am, for being a woman, for being queer, for being Latina, like, you know, I just feel like people have their pitchforks a lot. And I want to write a song about that, but like kind of in a way where like I'm just over here doing my thing. Why are you being bothered by like you're coming and causing an issue with me? Um and so I just like kind of took that general concept and I had like one line to my friend Chandler Layton, and she was like, "Dude, I love this. This is amazing." And then we're releasing it as like a co-release next month. So it's like a lot of the times it'll just be like a word that I'll hear or that I'll think of that'll just be like, that would be really cool, and I think we can make a really weird concept from it. And
Mhm.
I'll write maybe a couple lines. I'll have like a melody or like track references, but I try to keep it like I want to start with a direction and then just see where it takes us. So I don't want to come with like too much
Mhm.
because I love the collaborative process and I want to be creating that mostly from scratch with the people that I'm working with. Because I just think it makes it that much better. Everyone's like super invested in it and just stoked on it. So
No, I love that because
yeah,
you're also getting to work with fellow artists and
yeah,
creators, and you're able to create like this beautiful art piece
yeah,
for the public to consume, but
yeah,
you're also having you're able to work together, and it's like you might not have thought about that specific line, or maybe
yeah,
um the order of the verses or something, and you're like, wait, no, that's really cool, good idea.
yeah,
Because I
exactly.
love collaborating too, because like for the honey pop and stuff, like
Hmm.
we have our team of people, and I'm always like, no, like let's collaborate on something, because you might see something that I don't see,
Hmm.
or like you might come up with a question for an interview that I like just didn't think of, or you
Yeah.
worded it in a specific way that I'm like, oh my god, genius, like
Like, thank God, because like
yeah.
it made it so much better.
Yeah, be like, "Thank you so much." Like, that helps
Yeah.
me.
And you know what? It's interesting because I've had like a lot of songwriters who are like kind of just starting off approach me and be like, what what advice do you have for like going into writing sessions and having confidence and da 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 da. And I'm like, honestly, like you need to be open to like saying the dumb shit. Like like and you need to be working with a team that you feel like safe and comfortable doing that, because I've said the dumbest lyrics before and like it might spark something else in somebody else, and then they say this thing and it's just like this back and forth thing, and then you like find it.
Mhm.
You have to find it together. So it's like just go in there and just like put it all out there. If you have any lyric, even if you think it's the half the time the lyrics that we end up using are the ones that I think are so absurd, where I'm like, guys, I don't know, like tell me if I need to rein it in. Tell me if I'm doing too much. And then I'll say a line and they're like, that's insane and I love it. So it's just like, collaborating is the best. You need to be able to bounce things and ideas off people, in my opinion.
No, and I agree. I think finding that kind of tribe of people
Yeah.
that like you feel super comfortable with, because like
Yeah.
a lot of songs you are pulling diary entries a lot of the times, kind of like that's the kind of vibe for it. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to be super comfortable with them to be like, look,
Yeah.
this happened to me. This is what I'm going through, whatever. Let's write a song about it.
Yeah,
Because
it's very personal.
yeah, it's very personal, very, very personal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that you kind of found your like little tribe and
Yeah.
to do that. I think it's super important for like all like newer artists and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
it took me
find
time.
your people.
Yeah, it took me time and I didn't realize until I like looked around and I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I started finding myself like wanting to work with the same people over and over again and going to, and it was just like, oh yeah, I got my people and this feels really
Yeah.
good.
You're like, I got you. Like
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
buds.
exactly, exactly.
No, it's so good.
Yeah.
So still along same lines. So you've signed to Snafu Records.
Hmm.
One, congratulations.
Thank you.
And then what would you say the main difference is between being like kind of more independent and then having like a label kind of behind you?
That's a good question. I mean, having a team, having, I'm so used to doing everything on my own. My first, uh, everything up until like the last two songs, I did completely alone with like zero budget, zero, and like nothing. Um, and it took me a second. My manager actually had to like snap me out of it, and he was like, "Hey, you don't have to do everything on your own now. Like you have people who want to work with you. Stop trying to like do everything. You don't have to." And so like having that support is such a game changer. It's like a small team. We have like our weekly meetings and it's just like, we know each other,
Mhm.
and it's just having people who care about the music, who want to see it do well, like genuinely. It's really nice. And, being indie, it's also strange because I'm like, okay, like now you gotta let people in. You gotta trust other
Mhm.
people when you're so used to being DIY and indie. That it's like, come on, trust people.
Yeah.
But it's good. Being indie, the thing that I take from being indie and from being signed, the way that I like to view like my business and what I do is like ultimately I am like, I like to think of it like I'm the CEO of my company.
Mhm.
Like the company, I'm the product, I'm the brand, I'm all of that. So I need to be the CEO. So like I have these people that I'm working with, but ultimately like I have to feel comfortable with everything that's going on. Um and that's true whether I'm indie and whether I'm hiring people or whether I'm like working with a label, is like remembering that it's like ultimately it's my face, my name, my words. So it's like sticking to your guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good too, because it's like, yes, you
Yeah.
have a team, and I think it's important, like, because like with the honey pop, like we have a team of people, and I'm
Yeah.
like, sometimes I know I can be like, no, I'll just do it myself, and then I get burnt out, and I'm like, no, okay, I have a team. I
Yeah.
got a team. They can do this.
You're
They
like,
can,
you actually have people who can help you with this.
yep. I'm
You
like,
don't
they can
have to
make,
do it on your own.
yeah. I'm like, I have so many things on like my list, and I'm like, they can take that graphic that needs to be made for this article. I don't have to
Yeah.
do it. We have a team of graphics people.
Exactly. Like, why are we making more work for ourselves?
I know. And I'm always like, no, I don't
Yeah,
want to put too much on them. And then I'm like, but you're
exactly.
putting too much on you. Like, so I think it's definitely something that everyone can learn in
Oh,
every
absolutely.
aspect.
And it's like, I think also like just being like a woman, I'm so used to feeling like a burden if I like
Yeah.
ask people to, I'm like, no, 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 like if it's too much, I'll just go like jump in a hole. Like, and I'm like, no, like people want to work with you. Like people are excited about this and you hire them for a reason, you're working together for a reason, like, or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, stop feeling like a burden for asking for help or for, wanting to work with people on things. It's a lesson I'm constantly learning.
And I think it's a lifelong lesson because I still
Yeah,
haven't learned
another
it. Like, I'm still
lifelong
trying to,
lessons with Desi.
yeah, it's like I'm still trying to figure that out. Like
Yeah, yeah, same.
I do good for a little bit, and then I notice myself doing that again to where it's like, oh, I don't want to bother them, and they're like, please give me something to do, and I'm like,
You're like,
oh,
"Are you sure?"
you're like, are you sure you want to do this? And
Yeah,
they're like,
exactly.
yes, please let
Like,
me
I'm
help you.
asking you, like, please.
I'm like, I just don't want you to get stressed, and they're like, I have nothing on my plate, give it to me.
You're like, I'm bored. Let me do
Yeah,
something.
they're like, I'm actually kind of bored, like please.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, sorry.
copy that.
Yeah. No, that's good though. I think
Yeah,
that's a super good lesson for
yeah,
everyone to kind of know.
yeah, definitely.
But I want to get back to the music. So, and the reason why we're here, which is Bad Bitch.
Yeah.
And Congratulations was also put into the same
Mhm.
like album. It's not an album, but like,
Like
the
water.
singles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I wanted to talk about kind of how Congratulations came about.
Yeah.
Um, since we've talked about Bad Bitch a lot, but I want to talk about Congratulations too.
I love congratulations. I also love the story of congratulations. My partner, who my partner Libby, we started dating, and then they are also a musician and a songwriter. And I ended up also finding like a creative partner in them. And so we write together all the time. And this winter we were having a conversation, and I was like, what do we write about? I was like, I'm in a happy relationship. Like, I need inspiration. Where do I get my like heartbreak inspo and like all this, what like dramatic, whatever. And Libby was like, what if we like asked our TikTok followers to send us their breakup stories and we can like write songs about them? And I was like, that's brilliant. Um, so we ended up doing that, and we got like hundreds and hundreds of messages. And the first one, like just scrolling through, I was like just taking screenshots and like coming up with concepts and stuff. And the first one I took to Libby, I was like, someone left a comment saying, my ex of 2 years dumped me, and my best friend congratulated me. And I was like, oh, we're writing a song about that. We're
Yeah.
writing a song from the viewpoint of like the best friend who's like
Yeah.
the protective best friend who's like, I've been waiting for you to get out of this toxic relationship. You are about to glow up. Like you deserve so much more. So it's like the chorus is congratulations. Congratulations, you dodged a bullet. You dodged a bullet and a shitty situation. Throwing shots at Tito's back in celebration. He's a fake one. Congratulations.
I love that.
It's like we posted that and people loved it, and it was just so fun to like zoom out a little bit and write about somebody else's story. Um, and it was just so much fun to write. It just like kind of fell out, and we were just like, I was like, what would I be feeling? I mean, I've had that happen. Like I've had friends who have horrible exes, and I'm like, secretly, I'm like, oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. But I'm like secretly cheering because I'm like, this is so good for you. This is so good, and you can't see it. So we were just like talking about real life situations, and just like it was a whole thing. It was really fun.
No, that's good. And I do really like the song because it's like you don't always hear that side. Like I've had friends and I'm like, please, Like, I can't tell you what to do with your life because it's your
Yeah.
life, but you gotta not date this person.
But at the same time, I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
And
gonna tell you.
that's the exact energy because it was like the first line is, I wish that I could say I wish him well, but I don't think that would benefit your health.
Mhm.
Because like truly, like if I'm like, oh, like he was such a good dude, like da da da, that's not gonna help anyone. That's also not honest. And I'm your best friend, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He sucks, and I hate him, and I love you, and we're gonna get through this.
No,
So
I've even had that. My best friend had said
yeah,
that to me too, and I was just like, ouch. But also, you're
yeah,
right though. Like, self-awareness, like, yes,
tough
that
love.
was not a
It's
good
definitely tough
situation.
love. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, thank you for saying it. It kind of hurt a little bit, but also,
I'm gonna cry,
yeah, but it was
but I needed to
honest.
hear it.
It was
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think
Exactly.
everyone can relate to that song in some aspect because it happens so much.
Yeah, and it was fun to write from that perspective too. It was cool to like not have it be like, oh, I'm so sad and I'm heartbroken or I'm this da da da. It's like you're about to glow up and I love you and I'm proud of you and you're gonna be okay. Like it was just it was a
Yeah.
fun concept to dive into.
Yeah. And it's super
Yeah.
different. Like
Yeah.
I haven't really heard a song in
Yeah.
that way, at least recently. Like I
Yeah.
might have heard something a long time ago, but it doesn't come to mind. So having that kind of
Yeah.
concept, it's super different. And so it like sets
Yeah.
you apart as well. Cause you're like, you're talking
Thank
about
you.
different subjects than just like heartbreak and which relatable, but also,
Right. Always relatable.
yeah.
Yeah, I like to try to like take a concept and like flip it on its head and just be like, all
Mhm.
right, so I'm feeling this thing today. How can we look at it from a different perspective or like just, something that hasn't been explored. Was that the cat that was so cute?
Yeah, that was her tail.
Hi, cat.
She's like
Um,
behind my screen. I'm like,
she's
stop.
like, pay attention to me.
Yeah. She's like, oh, you're busy? Let me let me come and hang.
Let me make your life hard. I love it. But yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. So the lyric video, I think the lyric video for Bad Bitch released like 5 days ago-ish. I
Yeah,
think. Um,
almost a week ago. Yeah.
yeah, almost a week. So what was it like working with the team behind the video? Because it's not like a standard lyric video to where you just put like
Right.
a lot of times you just put pictures and like the lyrics on
Hmm.
top, but this was actually like it was like filmed in a way. Like,
Yeah.
so what was it like kind of that process and the team behind it?
Yeah. So, it was really important for me. I really wanted a female director, and my manager knew this person, Brittany Ray, who ended up directing. And she's amazing because I love to like bring wit into like my music and my aesthetic and everything. Like I like to be sarcastic and I like to make fun of myself and I um, and Brittany is actually like a comedian. Like she's an actor and a comedian and a
Oh.
director. And like I just before even like seeing anything like visual she'd done, I saw like some of her videos and I was just like, I just want to work with this person. Like she's hilarious, she's confident, she seems super cool and like just driven. And I was like, I want to work with this person. So I started, talk to Brittany and we fleshed out like a small team. It was a very small team. It was like Brittany, we had the DP and someone gaffing, and then we had like a stylist, and then I like did my own makeup, and Libby was there like taking BTS for me, and it was very very small, which I actually preferred because I don't know I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or what, but I'm like, don't make a big fuss, everybody, like it's gonna be good, so it was nice to
Mhm.
have just like we just like got together and we actually shot two visualizers. So the next one's for a song I have coming out in the winter called Cohiba. Um, but it was super chill. It was just like it was so easy to work with these people and they just made me feel like super comfortable and confident and it just came together really well. It's the whole thing of trusting the team that you have,
Yep.
and being like at first like beforehand I was like freaking. I was like, oh, like I didn't do this and this that. My manager's like, they did that. Like, hired them for a reason. That's their job. They did it. Like, you're good. You just have to show up and perform and like feel like a baddie. And I was like, oh, okay, like sick. I'll do it. And we wanted to do like instead of just like pictures and things like that, we wanted to do like more of a visualizer vibe and just like take some shots of me in like some cool weird clothes, like
Yeah.
and like a baddie.
No, I mean it
And that's
worked though. Like it was really good.
yeah.
I liked it because I like watching some of the lyric videos, but that one it just had like this different element to it that
Yeah.
it was I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's just like you wanted to watch it. It wasn't a full video, so it's not like a
Yeah.
film or anything, but like it's not just
Yeah.
pictures. So
Exactly. There's movement to it. And I think the way
Mhm.
people consume now, it's like even the way that people are leaning away from Instagram pictures, like everyone's doing reels now. Like people want visuals, people want movement. And I'm also like, instead of just doing the visualizer, we wanted to do the lyric video because like I'm such a freak about lyrics. Like I love lyrics. And I always like I get so excited talking about them and I wanted to bring attention to it. So I wanted to people like I love one-liners, I love punchlines, putting that kind of stuff in my music. So I'm like I want people to see that and like be like, "Oh, wait, what did she just say?" Like I love that.
No,
Um
I'm definitely someone who I look up lyrics all the time. I'm like, wait, what did that
yeah,
person say? I need to know. Like, and then
me
sometimes it's
too.
not accurate, and I'm like, that is not what they said. I was like, I need to
I-
know.
You're like genius, fix it. I
Yeah.
want
And then
to
I'm
know.
like, and then it's like going to the artist. I'm like, can you just create a lyric video? I need to know what you were saying.
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think I heard what you just said, but I don't know.
Like I have to know.
Yeah, because it's like
Yeah.
that sounded really fun, and I don't know what you said.
Yep.
Like that would
Yep.
make a good tattoo, and if you would just tell me what it said, I could get it.
I have to get the right words for my tattoo.
Yeah.
So
It's like, because if I get it wrong and I ever meet you in real life, you're gonna look at my tattoo
yeah.
and be like, wow, like that's completely incorrect. And I would be so
Okay, so
embarrassed.
tattoo, but actually that's not the lyric.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like I would be so embarrassed, and we don't want that for me,
yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Yep,
No, that's
exactly.
good. I know I love
Yeah.
lyrics. I think because like even me and my dad are super close and we talk about like music all the time, but
Mhm.
he doesn't listen to lyrics. Um he does to an
So interesting.
extent, but he really
Yeah.
likes the music side. So if the music side isn't there, like
Yeah.
just like
That's it.
it's not the song for me. And then he'll
And
listen to
that's
the lyrics and figure it out. But I was like, I don't know,
but
like
like that's yeah.
yeah.
Interesting to me how people like listen to music and what they listen to first because I'm a lyrics person. That's
Mhm.
what's gonna catch my attention.
Yeah.
But like same, like I know so many people who are like, if I don't like feel it like in the first 5 seconds of a song before I even hear the lyrics, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
okay.
like,
So it's
well,
like finding that balance. It's trying to, as a musician, it's being like, okay, for so long I was so lyric driven and I don't think I give as much time to the production. And I
mhm.
also don't think I was confident enough in the production and I didn't trust myself or my ear or anything. Um, and now I'm more like, I'm just gonna tell my producer to throw some dirt on it and it's gonna be great. Like,
Make it crunchy.
yeah, literally. Can you just crunch it even more? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
Um,
I got you.
yeah, exactly. But it's like finding that medium now. Like, I think that's what makes, because it's not just me listening to my music anymore. Like, I got people who need to hear, they need to feel the crunch, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, no, and I think it's also just growth as an artist too, is
Yeah.
like you started
Yeah.
off with what you knew and you're still slowly learning. And I think it's just a your entire career, you're gonna learn more and more, which is awesome because I think it's just so important that you just keep growing. But
Yeah.
you're now kind of understanding like, okay, there are some people who really like the production side and they need to know that it's there within like so long because
Yeah.
they're not going to listen anymore. And that could have been their favorite song and they just didn't give it a full chance. But like
Exactly.
it's just
So it's like,
that's just how people listen. So
yeah. And that taught me to like really give 100% to all of it.
yeah. No, and that's good.
Not skimp on one half and be like, oh, but like the top line's so good. I used to think that if you could sing a song acoustically and it
Mhm.
stood, then the song was good. And I was like, but also vice versa, if you take out the lyrics, if you take out the top line and you're just listening to an instrumental, does that hold up?
Yeah.
So it's not one-sided.
No, for sure. It's a full circle. And I think
Yeah.
just as you keep going, because I mean, you're only a year into your
Yeah.
solo. So it's like
Yeah.
it's gonna take, I mean, it's gonna take a minute, and that's fine.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you're already getting it though. Like we were
Yeah.
like you come up on my For You page a lot, by the way.
Really?
So when they're like, "Oh, like you want to interview like her," and I was like, yes, obviously." Like she
Yes.
pops up on my For You page all the time, and it's
That's so
always
funny.
good. Like, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, finally we know who like is helping her like on her team," and we're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, by the way, we love
Yeah.
her."
That makes me so happy. Thank you.
No, that's so good. But it is good because you've seen the growth even with your like TikToks. Like you've seen kind of
Yeah.
where you started and you're coming up and
Yeah.
I mean I can
Definitely.
only see more come. So like
Yeah.
eventually we'll probably get an album from you.
That's
So
the goal.
that's super exciting.
Yeah.
I love
Absolutely.
albums. Albums are like one of my favorite things because I love a good single. But
Yeah. I think like recently I've just been on the singles game because I haven't I my the first thing I released was an EP and I had
Mhm,
that whole it was a breakup EP. Like it was
mhm,
heartbreaking. I had the concept.
mhm,
Um and since then I haven't had like the whole cohesive idea for an album. Like I want to find it.
mhm.
I don't want to
Yeah,
just like make an album to make an album. I want to be like, all right, like this is the concept. Like I think that's gonna be a milestone for sure. Where
yes,
I'm like, all right, I've got it. Like I know what I want to do, and I want to like dive in and just do the whole thing.
yeah,
But that's definitely, it's tough because I don't know how much people still listen to albums, of course,
I
but
do.
it's
I
like,
do.
thank you.
Yeah.
The way
No,
people's attention spans are like so short.
oh no, I think I'm very weird with music is because like when I get a new album, like they send it or wherever or I find it, like I always listen to it top to bottom. Like I can't skip around for like, and it's usually it takes a couple weeks to a month, I think,
Mhm.
until I can like actually skip around and find like my favorite song.
I love that because I feel like you, as doing what you do and having the viewpoint that you do, you respect music very deeply and you respect the artist and the creative process. And there's so much that goes into making an album, even just finding the right flow. Like that is
Yes.
such a process to like people put hours and so much
Mhm.
time into like deciding how the track list goes. So like having people actually respect that and appreciate it and listen to it how it's supposed to be listened to instead of being like, I like that title or like whatever.
Mhm.
Definitely, definitely means a lot.
Yeah, I definitely have a few favorite songs. Like Five Sauce recently released their newest album,
Hmm.
and even though I have my top like two or three favorite songs that like I'm like, no, these are so good. I still cannot skip a song. Like, and I don't know. I think it's just like my weird quirk. Like I can't because I was like, there is a thread. I
Yep.
gotta find the thread of
Like
like,
I gotta get in the groove of it. Like
yeah,
it's a whole creative concept.
yes. And I'm like, why did they put this song there? Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? And
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes it doesn't mean anything, and I'm just trying to find something. But a lot of times
A
there
lot
is
of times it
a
means,
concept.
yeah. A lot
Like,
of the times, like they want you to find that. Like they want you to, or like find your own meaning
mhm,
in that.
yeah.
'Cause that's the coolest thing about music is like no matter what the artist intends for the
Mhm.
song to be about, like the listener is gonna find something, they're gonna find their own meaning in that. And I think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah. I mean, because you guys are you create these songs and they're broad, but they're not. So
Yeah.
they're about a specific topic, and a lot of times like I don't even want to know like
Yeah.
why. Like
Yeah.
I want to know like kind of your mindset and like one, are you okay? And
Yeah.
two, like that's kind of what
Yeah.
I want to know. Like are you good?
Yep.
Like and then but that's also like it's so broad that we as a listener can be like that happened to me too,
Yeah.
or I'm going through that right now, or I went through that like 2 years ago and all that kind of stuff. So
There's
it's like,
something so cool about
yeah,
finding a song where you're like, "Oh my God, I didn't know anybody else like has experienced this
yes.
thing."
It's like
That's
I
such
thought I
a-
was alone. And it's
Yeah.
like no, I'm not. I'm like,
Oh, nope, clearly I'm not because this has 2 million streams. Like,
yeah, I'm like, people have this
like
on
I'm
their
not.
sad playlist. Like
Yeah,
it's on repeat.
exactly. Exactly. And I love that.
Yeah. No, and that's just the beautiful thing about music, and that's why I love it
Oh,
so much, is
yeah.
just it brings people together that
Mhm.
normally might not have been brought together. Because like my two best friends I met through music and like
Oh,
concerts, and
really?
I would never have known them at all. Like we don't live in the same city. Like I would never have known that they existed unless
Right.
we all liked that one artist and we like went to a few shows and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, let's introduce ourselves in line. And then we're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, hi. And then we're just 10 years later and we're still
That's
best
amazing.
friends.
Ah,
So
that's
no,
beautiful.
I love music. Like it's so much fun. Like and
Thank you
getting to
for
talk to
respecting music.
so many different artists and their different like timelines, like because
Mm-hmm.
you're a newer artist, and then it's like talking to an artist that's been in the industry is different. So
Yeah.
it's like I like learning about, I mean, I like talking to smaller artists who've just started because I'm like, I want to know like why'd you get into it? Like
You're like, so are you okay?
yeah, I'm like, so that sad song is on my sad playlist and I've been listening to it all the
You're
time.
like, absolutely love it, but
But
checking
you're
in.
good. Like, are you okay now?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, yeah, we have a happy song coming later. I was like, good.
You're like, okay, just gotta check.
I was like, I just want to make sure that you're fine.
Yeah. That's so funny.
No, it's so good. So we're coming to the end. My last question for you is, do you have anything like on the horizon or anything that you want to plug and tell our viewers to check out?
Yeah, so a couple things. I've got the song Witch Hunt with Chandler Layton coming out. That'll be out on October 28th. And then the week before that, I have my first headlining show in New York City
Oh,
at Baby's All Right. So if anybody's in the area and wants to come, it's like the first time I'm very specific about when I play shows.
mhm.
And I'm just like really trying to go balls to the walls. First time I'm ever doing a merch drop, like full band tracks, everything just going ham, playing a bunch of unreleased music. That'll be coming out in the winter. So I think those two for right now are on the
Awesome.
horizon.
Yay. So
Yeah,
we'll definitely I'm gonna put all the links down below so people can like find it pretty easily. But yeah, thank you
perfect.
so much for talking with me.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
All right, guys. So that was our interview with Desi. She is incredible, as you can see. We had so much fun talking to her. We learned so much about production and her singer songwriter like journey and how she's only been in the industry for about a year now, and she's already created some incredible songs. And so we're just super honored that we got to chat with her today, and we hope you like the interview. So we do have her links down below, so definitely follow her. We'll have her streaming link down below as well for her song Bad Bitch, and also the link to get tickets to her first headlining show in New York. We definitely love to see you all there. And if you're going, definitely let us know in the comments down below or on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And then also, we do have a Discord server now, and we'd love if you guys could join us there. We talk about all things pop culture, and we're there all the time, 24/7. So definitely come and join us. We have events and listening parties and all those kind of good things, and we'd love to see you there. And so thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.